Well, we're here with Haley Todd. I'd like to introduce her. She is a fellow teacher at Emily Griffith High School, and she teaches and works with the GED program. So, how are you today, Haley?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good first question. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, for sure.
How
And
are you
so the GED has totally changed this year.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the major difference?
So one of the biggest differences is that January 1st this year, the entire system reset. And so anyone who had passed maybe one of what used to be 5 subject tests, math, social studies, science, writing, or reading, all those scores got erased. So if you hadn't graduated before the end of 2013, all those scores are no longer valid for you. So that's a big piece for anybody who may have family members or friends who've been working on any of that test over the past few years. So those have all wiped out, and the system has now begun with a new 4-series test. So there's a math test, a social studies test, a science test, and then also what they're calling reasoning through language arts. So they've pretty much embedded the writing components into 3 tests. So they've embedded it into the language arts test and social studies as well as the science. So they're trying to give you a little bit more authentic way to be able to share some of that information. So the new testing information is that 150 is the score to be able to pass each of the subjects, and there's no battery average. So you're required to pass each subject test with a score of at least 150. Previously, there was some room for feeling more confident on one subject and not so much on the others, and now it's just really overall, you need a 150.
150 out of what?
It's a range of 100 to 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, would you say that the new test is more difficult than the old test, or?
Yeah, absolutely. We took the new ones, as the teachers did, as soon as they came out, and there were certainly questions that dealt with content we'd never seen on the previous tests. So the writing got a lot more difficult because rather than just being able to pick a topic and go with any sort of your personal narrative type response, now you're analyzing 2 different texts and evaluating the argument and determining which one is actually better supported and choosing pieces of evidence from the text to then make your claim and make that even stronger. The math test, the level of rigor has increased significantly as well. Previously, you could pass with some basic algebra and geometry, but now there's a little bit of the higher algebra, geometry, graphing, solving more difficult equations and such. So it's certainly a much higher test, and I believe it's a better test, but it's proving to have a lot of challenges.
So who would be, I guess, a good candidate for taking the GED? I mean, I know in our school we have all kinds of different students that choose to do the GED, but
Sure.
I mean, what would you suggest to anybody watching if they thought, oh, I'm just going to take the GED or whatever?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, I wouldn't think of it as a quick fix.
Right.
Especially that was the mindset for a lot of people back in with the old test, and it's certainly taking a lot longer now. So I would say mostly people who diploma is just not an option for time reasons, but also again still realizing that it's going to take it could take a year or more for some people to be able to pass all of these tests. I definitely encourage people to get into a prep program somewhere. There are many all throughout the city, so even if you're not in our population, we'd love to work with you, but if you don't maybe meet our entrance requirements, there are a lot of other programs that could be able to help, because just going in and passing it, people are not succeeding as much as they used to on the old test.
So I know Emily Griffith, our school, is moving to a new building, and we're still going to offer GED, right?
Yep,
and all
we
of
will.
that. Okay.
And one of the great perks of taking all your prep at Emily Griffith is that all of our testing is also done in-house. So
Right.
with our partnership with the tech college, it's really beneficial because you're comfortable with the building, you know the parking situation, you know the people around, and if you run into any glitch that day, we know all of the testing staff on a first name basis and can be able to talk with people and try and make it as smooth and as least anxiety ridden as possible.
Yeah.
So, what is the process if you were to decide to do GED? What is the process that you would go through?
Yeah, great great question to think about. People would need to talk with, or students who would be interested need to talk with our registration department and be able to be sure that they can get registered for the next group of intakes. So we take new students once every month, and you'd be able to join. You'd plan to be in classes for a couple hours each day at least. You're always welcome to stick around and study more. And you'll take a couple entrance tests just to get a general idea of your grade level. And then that helps us have a better understanding of an approximate timeline or where you might need to start. And one of the great things about the GED is you go in and you prove that you know it on the test. And so you don't have to know everything, but you really need to be confident and competent in a lot of areas. And once you've passed that subject test, you're done. And you don't need to go back and pass it again to get a higher battery average or anything like people might have in their mind from the old tests.
Is there a cost associated with taking the GED classes and then also taking the GED?
Yeah, so one of the benefits of Emily Griffith's GED program is that all of our preparation is entirely free to the student.
Wow.
So we've purchased all of the materials, we have multiple instructors, we have additional tutoring opportunities. I mean, we really will provide any wraparound support that we can to help you be able to graduate with this test. There's also a cost associated with taking practice tests, which are called the GED Ready. They're the official practice tests that you can create an account through myged.com, and anyone can go on and take a practice test. If you have a credit or debit card, it's $6 for each practice test. And then the price also increased pretty dramatically this year. The test went up to $37.50 for each subject test. So it cost $150 to take the full battery. The retake is somewhat cheaper, but it's a pricey take.
Yeah.
So it's worth making sure you've prepared
Right.
significantly and being sure that you get the feedback from the practice test to know that you will get in the likely to pass range. And one of the great things is the programs GED's testing service developed on their portal gives you the feedback on the practice test that says you should specifically focus on this, and this.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
It is pretty helpful, and you can align it to different curriculums. So there's lots of prep programs out there and curriculum packages, but it gives you a lot of options
Cool.
to know what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any age requirements, or you can't be over a certain age, or you can't be under a certain age?
It just depends on which program you join. So
Okay.
at Emily Griffith, you need to be able to be under 21. So
Okay.
mostly 18 to 20-year-olds, we would gladly welcome you and would love to be able to hear from you and get to work with you and help you become a graduate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we have a graduation ceremony for our
We do.
GED students too, so that's huge, I think.
Complete with caps and gowns and the whole gamut. So
Yeah.
it's a big celebration.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many options for students out there to graduate and to get your diploma. You don't have to go the traditional route. It's really nice to know about all of those other routes that we have, including the GED.
Yeah, and one way, some people might say GED has a bad rap in some sort of way, but with a new test, there is a way to earn an honors designation on the official test. So if you score a 170 or higher on any given subject, or you could score 170 or higher on all of them, you'll earn that honors designation, and that will be recognized on your transcript. So as you move forward to apply to different schools or look into other employment opportunities, this is an excellent way to really be able to shine and show off all of the hard work that you put in.
That's awesome.
It almost seems
Yeah.
like with the new test now, there's a new way to look at the GED and a new perspective of it.
Absolutely. I think it deserves a lot more respect than it may have been given over the past.
Definitely.
Completely agree. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing with us about that.
Absolutely.
When it comes to audience, if you guys have any interest in GED, Haley's a wonderful resource who you can check out. You can get call Emily Griffith Technical College or high school and get some more information. But definitely consider that as an option.
Yeah. Hope to hear from you soon.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Well,
having me.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for coming
much.
on, Haley.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.